Who cares about the facts? Let's just take reality and make it better. Because reality sucks, right? We are just not good enough. And we love to think that thought. We Photoshop the bejesus out of our faces, our bodies, our bios. We filter the living hell out of humanity with a visual type of purity culture. And then in a fit of fickle rage, we turn around and bitch slap that dysmorphic bullshit into submission with cancel culture. Cheers. Let's start by making heroes out of dead people, because everybody likes a hero. Moses, sweet fantasy Moses. I thought he was Hebrew. This guy's English. Joseph in the amazing Technicolor dream coat. I guess he was Mormon. How about Jesus? No, not that one. We're talking hot blonde surfer dude Jesus. Yeah, there we go. That's gonna sell some tickets. Comes with all you see here. Cleavage not included. Blind faith is so sexy. And Joseph Smith. Some people sing songs about this dude that makes me a little bit queasy. It's like praise to the man. So what did this dude look like? I mean, really? What did he look like? I mean, where did they get this idea? Blonde hair, white and delightsome. So years after he was killed, his son, Joseph Smith III, actually submitted a photograph of his father to the Library of Congress. So if this isn't him, then why in the world did his son submit this photo as though it was him? More importantly, why does the church not say, this is our guy? And why did they latch on to the fantasy romance novel cover, Joseph Smith? So, not blonde. Kind of weird looking, kind of got a strange stare in his eyes, a little creepy, and a terrible Photoshop job. Imagine this as his dating profile photo. Hey babe, why don't you come back to my place and check out my flaming sword? This is definitely not what we're shown in those images that we got out of the church library. And how do they expect us to believe what we learn at church when they keep whitewashing it with this Norman Rockwell purification mode? There's a psychology to the way these hero paintings are made. Accidental? Not at all. Actually very intentional. In filmmaking, we like to say this. There's the film we write, the film we shoot, and the film we edit. Each time, the film gets better, bigger, smoother. In this case, there's the man who was, the man we talked about, and the man we worshipped. And don't tell me we didn't worship him. I mean, here's the definition of worship. Adoration or devotion comparable to religious homage, shown toward a person or principle. I mean, come on, when you're focusing only on these self-proclaimed good points and completely ignoring and downplaying the bad sides and manipulation, sounds like worship to me, but that's just me. Who Joseph Smith was doesn't really matter here. What matters is that we needed a solid hero to keep the church alive. And each year, the church adds more heroes to its trophy case. Heroes are what keep us inspired. Heroes give us guidelines and a reason for living. So what's really interesting is not who Joseph Smith was, but who we are as a society and why we need these goddamn heroes. I mean, why do we need to take this man who is merely human, not even a really good human either, and turn him into this hero? I mean, really, running through the woods with 50 pounds of gold, being chased by Hicks? Come on, never happened. And why did we pretend he wrote a book in such a short time? Why did we pardon him for breaking his own rules? And why did we show him translating the Book of Mormon without putting his head in a hat looking at a rock? Why didn't we paint that awkward image? Because we were building a hero. There's a reason Bushman named his book Rough Stone Rolling. Joseph never really got smoother, but his story did. And as long as we keep that ball in the air, people will believe. Too bad the past prophets didn't see the future internet coming. In the 1960s, there was a famous art forger, Elmir de Ori. What he would do is he would forge a painting that looked like it was in the style of a famous painter, and then he would sell them to the museums nearby. They bought them every single time. Some of those paintings are still hanging in museums today. Elmir said this: if the painting hangs in a museum for more than 20 years, it is real. Picasso said art is a lie that makes us realize the truth. I've always been an artist my whole life, and I paid a lot of attention to these pieces of art that we saw in church. The tiny head and ridiculous arms on Nephi. And as I began realizing that the paintings in church were lies, I became suspicious. What were the other lies in this true church. Because, you know, if you give half a fuck about the truth, you're gonna find it. So my mom is also an artist and a Mormon, a true believing Mormon. And ever since I left the church, sometimes art is all we can talk about. So when the powers that be in 2015 decided to show us the peepstone. So I asked my mom, when we first joined the church, how did you picture Joseph Smith translating the Book of Mormon? As an artist, how did you see that happening? She said to me, I didn't. I just accepted that it was true. Well, anyone who knows an artist knows that that's bullshit. Deep inside, I think we all wanted to know just what it looked like when he translated that book, if he translated that book. So you remember the paintings that they showed us in church, right? The translation process, one or two guys sitting at a table, one had the plates, maybe they had this sheet here so that guy couldn't see the plates, but we saw the plates. You know, the one we saw in Sunday school, in priesthood, in young women's, you know, from the church library. Now we know that he used this stone, and he stuck his head in a hat. No plates, no Urim and Thummim, no bueno. So where's the painting of that scenario? Why don't we see that awkward image? So why did the artist who painted that painting that we remember in church, why did he show a very different scenario? Recently, the church actually blamed artists for showing us things that weren't correct. And then they disavowed the artist. And what they said was that was his interpretation to avoid the responsibility for the misconception that we had. So if those paintings were that guy's idea and they were deceiving, how the hell did they get in the church library? So he made lots and lots of color copies, really nice ones, put them on board, took them to every church in the world, snuck into the library, labeled each one with a catalog number that somehow manages to match the number inside every manual that was produced in Salt Lake City. That's fucking amazing. Now that guy's a hero. And then, cherry on top, nobody managed to notice that these paintings were telling a lie for 50 plus years, which is really strange because I'm pretty sure the church had a copyright on that art. Wasn't me. If one artist can fake another artist's work and it fools the experts, then why couldn't the church use art to fool a whole congregation? And what if the artist is a con artist with a real Egyptian papyrus? This time the art is real. Now we need a fake story to go with it. Abraham. When we joined the church in 1975, the painting of the church was pretty much finished. It had taken over 100 years to perfect the brushstrokes, refine the spot varnish, and streamline the tonal range. The first vision stories had been consolidated and given the stamp of approval by the CEOs. The rewritten scriptures were now called standard works, complete with racist reasonings and self-righteous justifications. The Mormon brand was solid. Backed by trusted celebrity endorsements, the money was rolling in, and the corporate investments were showing huge profits. And now, 40 years later, it doesn't matter if the church is true. They've met their quota. And their painting, it's still hanging in a museum.